Hey everyone, I hope you're all having a fantastic week. If you're new here, my name is Danny James, and in today's tutorial I'm going to be showing you my 7 best Sapphire effects for drill music videos inside of Adobe After Effects. Once again, remember the easiest way to support this channel is by visiting my website at dannyjames.co for preset packs and LUTs to level up your visuals instantly. Without further ado, let's get into the video.
Baby, welcome to the hood. If you with us, you good. Yeah, 50, wooed up. Backpacks full of rulers. Yeah, I got a white shooter. And no, I ain't shooting no schools up. Yeah, I feel like the drill tutor. Wait, can I do a hit on a scooter? Nah.
I have 2 compositions here set up so that we can do this in the most efficient way possible. And right beneath all my comps, I have a music effects tab, which is disabled for video, which means I just want to use the audio to demonstrate the practicality of these effects. The first effect for this tutorial would be the Sapphire rays. So just search S rays and then put it on your clip. It actually gives you a shimmer of light like you'd see in the sun. You can affect the rays length by increasing the value, and then you can also use the center XY to determine where these rays of light should originate from and the direction they should go. So you can just tweak these to your liking, and then you can also increase the brightness of these rays however much you need. Okay, you can see we are having a good image here. If it's a little too much, just reduce it. And one more thing that you can do with this one, you can go to your threshold, find the threshold setting, and you can reduce it to increase the amount of brightness from the rays. You can see this is what we get. So you can see it really targets the alpha sources of light, which are the brightest parts of the image, and then it uses them to create the ray of light on your clip. One more thing that you can do with this effect, I can just copy this effect, bring it into my other comp. I have rotated the subject in this clip over here, and right beneath I have the background with it. If I paste the same effect here and then change the value for the center XY, you can see what I'm able to do. We are also able to put this effect just on a single subject and create different types of looks with it. So that's one thing that you can do with this one. Next will be the Sapphire flicker. So just change to flicker. I want to demonstrate that on this clip right here. Drag and drop the flicker onto that clip. The flicker will allow us to add a flickering animation in a more automatic way rather than how we'll do it manually on Adobe Premiere. Find the amplitude setting, increase the value up to 1. Find the seed setting, set it up to 0, and now come back to the wave setting, find the amplitude and the wave frequency, and those are the only settings that you'll need to change. The current settings give us this flickering effect. If you want to customize this flickering effect, you need to change the amplitude, so you can find where it flickers into darkness, okay, like this point. I can increase the amplitude to tell the software that I want it to have total darkness, and this is what you get. And now I can increase the frequency to determine how often it flickers. If I want something more rapid, this is what I would put. If I want it just to be a little bit low key, just set it to around 5 and it will flicker like that. You can also affect the brightness. If you don't like excessive brightness during the flickering, just find the point where it's bright and then you can reduce it if you want it to be just as at default. So you can see this is what you're creating, and with those settings, music effects, this is what it looks like. Yeah. Next will be the Sapphire freeze frame effect. So I'll go back to the first clip that we started with. I will disable the Sapphire rays, search for the S freeze frame, add it onto that clip. It will simply do what posterizing time does. So you can see what it does to the clip by default. If I increase the number of freeze frames to 10, it will have a more jittery feeling. You can see. Okay. If I reduce the number to something like 3, it also gives you something a little bit more rapid. So I will leave it at 10. So it will interpret your footage and give you an output accordingly. What I like to do with this one is I like to go to my effects and add an echo just to supplement these. Make sure the echo has precedence over the freeze frame. I will temporarily disable the freeze frame, put the composite in back, change the number of echoes to something like, let's put 4. Let's see if we're getting any echo. we are not getting any echo because we haven't reduced the decay. Put the decay to around 0.75 to 8 to 0.8. Yeah, so this is what we have so far with the echo. We'll just use the default negative 0.033, and then we can re-enable the Sapphire freeze frame. Probably change the frames to the default 5, and we are immediately getting a slow shutter effect, which looks amazing. The next effect I wanted to show you is the Sapphire glint. So just search S glint. I want us to work with this clip right at the end. I would recommend using an adjustment layer for this. So add a new adjustment layer, place it on top, give it a different shade of color, and then we can trim it how we want it. So it comes here, we can put a glint right over it, and it will simply allow us to add some specific rays of light. And you can disable the show size if you want to just deal with the clip as it is. You can increase the brightness. I think once you've worked with a few effects from Sapphire, you'll get the gist of it. So I'll use the threshold as it is. You can increase the blur just to make the light a bit more dispersed. You can see that with the blur on the glint, it kind of acts more like the glow. But if you just reduce that value and it stays at 0, you kind of have these shaped rays of light, which make it look really interesting. One thing that you can do with this glint, you can combine it with the VC Color Vibrance plugin. I will also link it down below. Just add it there, and now you can be a little bit more specific about the ray of lights that you want to introduce into the clip. Let's say I wanted to bring in some green of it. I'll just do it like that. So this is what we get on our eventual image. The reason why we placed it on an adjustment layer is so that we can hit T, add opacity keyframes, switch from 0 to 100, however much you'd like to. So I'd put these keyframes right at the beginning, so you can make it flicker by copying the keyframes, Ctrl C, Ctrl V, and then this is what it gives us. So you're able to have more control over the image with an adjustment layer with the Sapphire glint. I also wanted to combine this with the Sapphire glow, but I want to do this separately here. I'll disable the other effects that we had added on this clip, and then just add a Sapphire glow. The glow should come in handy in most of your edits. It will help you just add some glow onto your clip, which is really low-key. The glow is really straightforward to work with. You can also use it in conjunction with the VC Color Vibrance to define the colors that you want to use on the glow. You can increase the brightness if you want the glow to be more accentuated, depending on your clip. And this is a very easy effect. I don't think I need to cover much about it. You just need to use it practically to see the effect. Next is a Sapphire shake. I want to use it on this clip right over here. Search S shake. I think I've used it in most of my tutorials, so this shouldn't be a very new concept. The shake will allow you to affect the amount of jittery on the clip using the amplitude and the frequency values. With the default values, this is the amount of shake that you have. Okay, if you want it to have a more jittery feel, I would simply increase the amplitude and it goes more up and down, side to side, which is a little bit more violent. So I would just recommend playing around with the frequency to determine how smooth the shake is. So by reducing the frequency, this is what it looks like, and I think it really goes well with drill music videos. Let me just add the music so that you can see it. Yeah. So this is a very straightforward effect that you can apply on all of your drill edits. I think it's really versatile and simple to use. And the last one for this one was to use a Sapphire blur more curves for your transitions. So I want to add these blur more curves on these other clips. I've disabled any other effects maybe that you've added on these clips so that it's very clear. These will help us create very smooth transitions. So with the blur more curves, just make sure you change these settings to reflect the wrap X and wrap Y. And now we can create a horizontal transition like this. So just add a keyframe on Shift X, hit U so that you can see that keyframe, and then go towards the end of the clip and then just shift the X value put it on easy ease by hitting F9 on your keyboard. Squeeze the keyframes as you're supposed to do. I'll do the same on this other clip. Add a keyframe for Shift X, hit U so that I can see the keyframe. I will drag this keyframe to my right because this will be my eventual look, and then towards the beginning of the clip, shift it on this other side. But remember, we need to wrap X and Y on reflect. Take it to my left hand side instead of my right hand side. Put the keyframes on easy ease and squeeze them here, and then I'll space these out. So if I preview this just by sliding through, you can see it's not as effective as you'd want it to be, and that is because we need to adjust the graphs. Find the speed graph. If you can't find it, make sure you've right clicked and changed to speed graph. For the first clip, we need to make the transition fastest towards the end, and then for this other one, make it fastest in the beginning. Highlight on this, take it to the other side. Don't make the same movement you did on the first clip, otherwise you won't have a clear result. And if you preview it, this is what it looks like. Very seamless. You can do the same movement on the y-axis. You can do the same movement by simply rotating. I will just do it on this clip heading into the last clip. I will add a keyframe for rotation on this one. Enable that keyframe, hit U so that I can see it, and then towards the end of the clip we can rotate it. Okay, put the keyframe at the end and then hit F9, and I will do the same thing on these other clips. So I'll need to drag in the effect and make the necessary changes, and then I will adjust the velocity speed graphs as I had shown you earlier on. And this is what we have afterwards. Goes in like this, like this. If you see something weird, it's just because you haven't placed your keyframe right where it's supposed to be. So this keyframe should be right at the very beginning, and we now have something seamless. I will play this from the top. And yeah, those are my 7 best Sapphire effects that I wanted to share with you today. I think they are very useful and could come in handy whenever you're editing any music video project, and especially when you're doing a drill music video, just to make it have that banger feeling. I hope you did enjoy this video as much as I did prepping it for you. Kindly leave a like and or a comment if you found this video useful, so that it can be suggested to other people with the same interest as you. My name is Danny James. See you guys on the next tutorial. Peace.